Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Maitri and I'm kind of new to tabletops, very passionate about it, and I am learning to be a better GM, a better player, and a better person, and I want to share some of the cool stuff that I have learned, that I'm learning. Purpose here is really to talk about like different concepts and they probably exist in pretty much any game and see if there's a way for you to incorporate it into your own play in your own games. Today we're going to be talking about is encouraging RP. Generally, this is something that GM will be like, oh well, I should encourage RP at my table. Like if that's something that's fun for people, like GMs kind of take it on themselves as trying to find ways to encourage RP in the group, and that's part of the design of the game. Usually, is finding ways to encourage that with players. But you can do that as a player. Like you don't have to wait for your GM to do it. In fact, I'm not just talking about how you can RP more, but you can encourage other players to RP. One of the things that I've seen work really well is you can and should ask for chats with other players between scenes between you and the other players. So you probably already engage with the world and the NPCs that the GM gives you, which is appropriate in what they want you to do, and they may allot time for player interaction if you guys are typically kind of an RP heavy group. But even if you are, this is something you can do anyway. If you guys are not an RP heavy group, but it's something you would like to do more of and be engaged more with, you can absolutely engage with other players. Generally, players, that is the people playing the characters, they have a lot of meta banter, like there's laughing and there's talking about the game and all that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is RP between the characters that makes the characters bond and the characters connect. It doesn't have to be some big thing, although the more frequent you do the small things, the more likely it is that you're gonna have those big meaty conversations about like backstory and betrayals and love lost and like all these big epic things. Like I'm not describing anything abstract. Literally, it's as a player, like, hey GM, before we move on, can I chat with Doctor for a second? Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to speak to her privately? No, that's okay. I can just catch up to her in the group and just have a chat with her then. Okay, go ahead. And then you, as a player, will go up to her and say, hey, Doctor, what's that gold pin in your hair? Like, oh, like, I got this from this shop in Townsville. Oh, I've never been to Townsville. Oh, yeah, I grew up there. And now you have a bond. And it doesn't really have anything to do with moving the plot forward, but it does have a lot to do with making you and the other characters into a more solid group. And also, if other players at the table kind of see you doing this, that invites them to play a certain way. Perhaps they were feeling a little uncomfortable about it, and they didn't quite know where to start. But this is a really easy way to encourage roleplay at the table as a player. And frankly, by doing this, you have probably single-handedly made the game even more fun for people at the table. You've made another player feel amazing because they got to share a little bit about their character. You've made the GM feel really happy because you were engaging with their game in ways that they didn't even plan. And you made the other people at the table feel a little bit more comfortable with putting themselves out there a little for RP. Maybe they'll engage with each other, maybe they'll engage with you. or they'll engage further with an NPC, even maybe. If you are already sort of comfortable with each other and you have your cadence as a group, you don't need to ask for scenes. You can just kind of do it. And you know, if you watch a lot of actual plays, like, or if you watch any actual plays, like you'll see players kind of do this with each other just kind of organically. They don't really ask for scenes, but I am recommending that you do, because if it's people who are newer to the table, newer to the game, and newer to playing with you, it gives players who might not be as experienced either with this party and you're still figuring out your dynamic as a group, or with tabletops in general, or anything at all. But asking for that scene sort of gives people involved a second to kind of like be like, okay, cool, this is the mindset I'm getting it. So it just gives people a second. That's really the only reason to ask for scenes. Is if people are not already comfortable with that style of play. Otherwise, if people are, you don't need to ask for the scene. You can kind of just have the organic conversation. So, yeah, that's a pretty straightforward way that I have learned to encourage more RP at the table as a player. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.